What's up, friends of the good mood? This is Manni and welcome to a review of the most powerful gaming phone on the market, the ROG Phone 6D Ultimate from Asus. 3 years ago I introduced to you also in a similar review the ROG Phone 2, back then also the most powerful gaming phone with all the accessories. Back into the present, you see this thing is now relatively damaged. It has seen a lot because it was my daily phone until now, because here comes finally the replacement. By the way, the link in the description and pinned comment is for you. It leads you to the ROG 6D Ultimate phone. In case you want to check it out, go ahead and use that link. You see, when unboxed, you get this active cooling fan that also serves as a controller when you plug it in with additional buttons. The phone itself feels really good. It's an aluminum case with Gorilla Glass on front and back. We have an awesome camera setup. More info about this later. And you get the 65-watt fast charging unit along with a cable together. By the way, it worked really well to get all my data from one phone to the other here. It just took a little while because there was a lot to copy, but then I had basically my old phone on the new phone immediately without any hassle. And then when you start up the phone for the first time and it leads you through this interactive opening sequence, showing you like in a cinema the performance of this phone with the insane vibration and sound effects. And now this phone has literally just been released. It's as up to date as it gets, October 7th, 2022, and you can find this up-to-dateness everywhere. The hardware configuration is just top notch. We have the Dimensity 9000 Plus CPU, 3200 MHz and an octa-core that combined together with its GPU makes the best benchmarking results you can find on Android phones. We have a 16GB memory with 512GB internal storage, 6000 mAh dual cell battery with 65-watt fast charging, and the best gaming display you can ever dream of on a gaming phone with a 6.78-inch AMOLED display and 165 Hz. More about this in a minute. And the Game Genie still exists, as I also had it on my older phone, and now it looks a little different on the newer, and it will still allow you to set up the shoulder triggers. And I'm pausing the stats for a second and telling you about the shoulder triggers. Also, we're playing it here, of course, Robots with 60 frames per second on the high preset, and it runs like an absolute dream. It's insane. Now, the shoulder buttons, again, these things are the secret. This is what makes gaming on the Asus hardware. Because you can, with just a few button presses, you can navigate and tell the phone which shoulder trigger should trigger what and what button should be pressed. And then that simple thing allows you to, I made it so that when I press the left one, I will, you know, cycle targets or focus a target, and the right one will fire. And by having it this way, I can effectively aim at the enemy, move around and aim and fire at the same time very accurately, not waste my shots, not miss too many shots. And do you know me, guys, I'm not the best player when it comes to the touchscreen controls. I find this, it's not how I usually do, because as you know, I play usually on the emulators, and this is more my personal favorite in terms of controls. But with this phone, I'm still really powerful and hard to take down, and I can easily run into a group of multiple enemies, and with my old Ravana, get 2 or 3 of them destroyed. Yeah, so let's get back into the stats while we're watching a little more. We will see pictures of the new camera set up in a few seconds. The main camera can be a 50 megapixel with 13 megapixel also, and a 5 megapixel macro camera. Yeah, so the macro, I heard, isn't necessarily the best camera macro lens, but it gets the job pretty well done. We're gonna see some pictures about this also in a bit. And then the front camera, so your selfie cam, is a 12 megapixel 1080p 30 frames per second. The main camera, by the way, can also shoot videos up to 8K, but yeah, I have never actually made an 8K video because, well, I don't think I need this. 4K 60 is usually my way to go, and that is also what you're going to see here later. Audio system is absolutely phenomenal. I think there are almost no phones, if there is even a single phone out there, with a better audio system, because these things are loud as heck, very clear and powerful. They sound insane. These DTS stereo sound speakers this thing has are absolutely wrecking havoc, and are making it just fun to play with without headphones, actually, and even listen to music with it. We have 2 times USB-C and a 3.5mm audio jack. Also, something I wish every phone would do, because I think audio jack need to be there. Without I want to listen to music or watch movies movies with headphones and still, you know, charge my phone at the same time, even when I don't have a Bluetooth headset laying around or whatever, right? And without using fancy adapters. And that's what we can do here because we have a dedicated audio jack, and it's good to have. Then, of course, in terms of tech, we have the latest stuff inside. I don't need to go too much into detail. 5G, of course, Wi-Fi, the latest, Bluetooth, NFC, all there, right? There is, I don't think it's going to be extremely hard to find anything in here that's not here. Except wireless charging. It doesn't have wireless charging. That's one thing it doesn't have. Yeah, that's something that I personally don't even use much anyways, or not at all, actually. So yeah, we have an AMOLED display. That's some of the absolute strength that I haven't even spoken about. It's crazy. We have a 6.7-inch AMOLED display with 165 Hertz. Yes, 1200 nits peak brightness. Guys, this thing is a gaming phone, and you can notice that in its display. The response time, the smoothness, the 165 Hertz, it is how you want to game. Seriously, this is the refresh rate you want to have if you want a game, and you can see the smoothness and it feels so wonderful. By the way, the phone also weighs like 7 grams more than my old ROG phone 2. A little trivia, funny info. Android 12, of course, is an operating system, and a 2-inch OLED display on the back, which I'm going to show you again in just a moment. And also the phone, when you play, I can tell you now because I do play, it does get a little warm. You can find it, feel it in the back. It's normal because it brings in performance and generates a ton of frames, but it's not uncomfortably warm or anything, and even it would ever get you too warm or so that you can still always adjust or plug in that controller that you get into delivered with the phone that will cool it down and even provide you with additional buttons. I haven't tested those, but I would assume you can use them to, you know, bind more buttons, to maybe also use an ability with a button press and use an airstrike with it. Now let's go into detail about the cameras. You can see right there, that's me, hi. Here with a 12 megapixel front camera. Also an always on display, we have one, and it works really nice. We can also here define the OLED display on the back to see what it's supposed to say. Brightness as well, and as you can see, that's how it looks like. It looks just amazing. This phone has one of the coolest looking designs. Here's a just fast photo, just a shot with a 12 megapixel camera. Here you see the 50 megapixel camera, a full high-res shot that's much bigger, normal fast shot here in close range or close distance, and a macro shot with my little toy here. You can even see the dust in the front there. Really impressive. 12 megapixel no zoom, right? And then the 2x zoom that when we zoom in, it has of course more clarity on distance then. 4K 60, as you can see right here, which is kind of a farce because I'm only shooting this video in 2.5K, so but it is really good quality. And then here we have a 240 frames per second slow-mo shot of me pushing that car around and whoops, having a little accident, poof. Yeah, pretty awesome with the slow-mo. And here's a little sneak peek of what's coming next. Spoiler, 2 similar screens from ROG here. That will be coming up sometime soon, so stay tuned for it, ladies and gentlemen, together with a little studio tour. Also, why we see so much Asus hardware here, you remember how we were on Gamescom, how we made a big event there on stage, and we won a couple of prizes for our community? Yes, guess what? There's still going to be the giveaway coming up sometime soon in a future video, so stay tuned for that as well. So thank you all for watching. Asus, thank you for sponsoring this video, and catch you all in the next upcoming videos. Manni signing off. Bye-bye.